So I came out here in nature to take pictures of nature, but everywhere is still dry and it's very unfortunate because I won't be able to take any picture. I don't mind the birds. I mean, they're just happy seeing me. I guess it's because of me because I don't know if they're always this noisy, very loud. Uh, so I had nothing planned for today, but because I came out in nature and I can't take pictures, I just shouldn't go back without doing anything. So I asked myself, what can I do today? What can I just do to make this journey feel like I went out and did something? And I didn't have any script or anything. So I'm just like, is it going to waste? But then I'm like, no, I mean, you could just say something, you could just tell a story. Then I'm like, what story? Then I think maybe you could speak about how macro photography has changed you or how you got into macro photography, anything like that. And then I was like, that's it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you my macro photography story, how I got into macro photography, and just how macro photography has changed me. I mean, this video is going to be so raw, like an egg. And yeah, that's just the only thing I've been able to think of right now. I mean, I know other things that are raw, but it would make this video 18 plus. And of course, I'll take 18 plus for this video, but no, I'm not going to bring that up right now. So let's get into it. Yeah. By the way, I hope I'm in focus. And if it's something you really care about, I'm recording with the OM1 right now, and I'm using Yongnuo 17mm f1.7 lens to record. And that's pretty much it. And by the way, if you are new here, my name is David Joseph at ABCD David. I'm a macro wildlife photographer based in Nigeria, and I've been doing macro photography for, well, the video has started. So yeah, let's get into it. Late 2019, I just stumbled upon mobile photography videos on YouTube and I liked them that I decided to just try those out with my phone. I did get amazing results, so I kept on doing it as a hobby because I didn't really have any interesting hobby, to be honest. Photography became the main hobby for me, so I gave it so much time and all of that. I was just taking random pictures. Not random, but I really wasn't like focused on anything. But the thing that made me switch to macro, and it wasn't like intentional because that was just when I'd start taking pictures of flowers. Of course, one of my inspirations for flower photography is Christine at Macro Viewpoint. She takes very exceptional pictures of flowers, to be honest, and her edits are just magical, to be honest. So yeah, she was my inspiration, and I got into flower photography with my phone. I tried a lot of stuff. I played with the colors and all of that, and I liked it. But then we didn't really have many different flowers over here because we don't value flowers in Nigeria, let's be honest. So I couldn't do flower photography for a long time because after photographing the same species or type, because I don't know if flowers are species, but after photographing the same type of flower over and over again, it got boring and repetitive. So I needed something else to like spice it up. And as at this time, let's say this was around early 2020, maybe late 2020, because I did hang around on the general side of photography for a very long time. I was still just not into bugs yet. But when you start photographing flowers, one thing you observe is that on those flowers, you'll find insects, maybe spiders and all those kind of things on the flowers, and they'll make you begin to photograph them too or just photograph them along the flowers. So that was how it kind of like started for me, that I began moving to insect. And the beautiful thing about insect photography then was that I discovered that even if I'm shooting the same insect, it's very different because I mean they're changing how they behave, how they move, and maybe just being in a different place. So that was one thing that really drew me into photographing insects for the first time and just keeping on with it and kind of like moving away from flower photography to insect photography. As time went on, I was still kind of like shooting everything, not primarily humans or whatever. And I mean, there were certain things I never photographed, like street. Just never tried that. I was just more like, oh, this thing is beautiful. Let me take a picture of it. And yeah, sometimes I could photograph humans, but very rare. and flowers and then insects, but I was still carrying all of them along at this point. But the point where I started to separate them was when I observed that my phone wasn't giving me any more progress with these other forms of photography like human. See, with the phone, you have to struggle with separating the background, like the subjects from the background, I mean. And it uses AI, so there's no like pop, no 3D pop, It's very flat and unreal. And I'm also someone that's been wanting excellence and kind of like a standard whereby, I mean, it's just up there regardless of where you put it, be it regional or just like on a global level. So I wanted such, and even though I was using a phone to take pictures, there was this thing I called pretty good, and it's kind of like someone telling you your picture is good, not because your picture is actually good, but because they're like, okay, he's a beginner, or maybe it's because he's using a phone, all these kind of things. So I never wanted pretty good for my photos, so it just didn't make me feel good about them. I decided to not like rely on my phone using software to determine how my photos would look, because if you're using a phone to take a picture, the background blur would depend on the software, like the computational part of your phone photography. And I didn't want it to be what determines how good my photos are. And I know you could still take amazing pictures without blurring the background, but let's be honest, background blur is a different kind of spice. So, and yeah, that was the spice I always wanted to add to my soup. So that was it for me. And I needed to focus more on the hardware. And I observed that using your phone to take pictures of insects, because you get so close and they're very tiny, your phone actually uses the hardware to blur. And I was using my hardware, let's put it that way, because I did everything manually, and that meant even the focus point. So that really gave me so much depth in the photos that were very natural, like as if I was using a camera. And then it got even more magical when I switched to using a phone macro lens to take those pictures. I began with an Apexel 12 plus 0.45 degree wide angle lens, which I'd always drop the wide angle but just use the 12x of it. And that gave my picture so much spice. It was very natural. It was only hardware dependent. It blurred the background. And that was when I dropped other things to focus on just macro photography. From the second month of 2021, which is February, I began exclusively photographing bugs. And of course, it's not going to be exclusive from start to end, but it was just bugs. I began identifying myself as an insect photographer, a macro photographer. And the funny thing is, by the time I was already doing bug photography, let's not say by February, let's not say by 2021, but before that, I never actually knew it was a kind of photography or like it was a thing. I never knew there was a community for that. And it always seemed odd when people would see me in the field like this. I mean, not anymore because they kind of like already know me and I look like my animal somehow. People do tell me that because of my hairstyle. So yeah, it's not strange anymore. And I mean, I'm an adult now, so they'll be like, "Oh well, he's intentional. He knows what he's doing and stuff like that." But then I was younger and I was still a student, so it would seem strange to people that I'm in the field alone doing what they don't understand or what they can't see. It's different now because they understand and they've seen lots of my photos and I have an identity. And yeah, it's very different now. I mean, those days were very strange. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if my camera is still recording. It can happen sometimes. Yeah, so those days were very strange, but I loved the freedom. I loved the freedom a lot, and just how bold I was to do something that is not done here. And I'll be honest, it was very tough for me because people never like considered me to be a photographer. I'll be honest. Yeah, that was true. I always thought it was because I used the phone, but it wasn't because I used the phone. It was because of my kind of photography. And I feel for the most part of it, there's an ant on my back right now. That's why I don't like filming out in nature. Okay, let's continue. So, for the most part of it, it wasn't, it's still on me. It wasn't because I shot with the phone. It was because of my genre. People over here really feel you're a photographer if you are doing something you can earn from. And that wasn't something I was doing because I didn't earn from the box. So they never considered me a photographer. At most, if they were to like respect me, they just considered me someone who has a hobby of, I don't know, just a hobby of seeing insects up close. So that was how it was for me. And I had lots of challenges as a beginner photographer or a beginner mobile photographer or someone that's doing a kind of photography that's not usually done here. Like there wasn't anyone to show me the way or tell me this is this or this is that. Or just like tell me, yeah, if you go here, you'll find this bug or stuff like that. But that's a long story, and maybe I could save that one for another day. As at 2021, I began exclusively photographing bugs. And sorry if I've missed any of the stories I said before this one. I mean, it's that hard when you don't script things. And from there, I began shooting bugs. I used a macro lens, an external macro lens for phone. And an external macro lens for phone is quite better than the internal macro lens for phones because that has more quality as you're using your primary camera, the color reproduction and all of that. Plus the manual controls, completely manual controls, which I doubt the macro lenses that come with a phone give. I mean, maybe some of them give now because I haven't shot with a phone for a very long time. So yeah, that's a fly. I began shooting bugs with a phone and a macro lens, a phone macro lens, external one. Apexel. I've used several Apexel macro lenses, but in those days I used the 12x and then I moved on to the 100 Apexel macro lens. Thanks to Apexel, who sent that to me for free. I photographed from 2021 with a phone. Like, I mean, I'm 100% into bug photography now. Till December 2022, I'm still shooting with a phone. And of course, December is a very difficult time for macro photography in Nigeria because it's dry season. You don't find any bug. Of course, I know if you maybe go into dense jungles and stuff, you'll still find things, but good luck with that. I mean, even when it's raining, and it's not just about that, but the security, the accessibility, there are so many challenges that just can't let you do macro photography or any kind of wildlife photography or nature photography, do it the way that you'd want to do over here. So that's been a very serious challenge. And in December, a miracle happened. And you know, when people always ask me when I'd switch from a phone to a camera, I tell them it would take a miracle. And to be honest, that was just, I mean, I'm using to be honest a lot here today, but that was just me being real. It would take a miracle. And I don't know if I believed in miracles, but it would take a miracle. And of course, a miracle was what happened because all my friends, I don't know, I mean, they're watching this, but it's sad to like categorize right now because some of you may just like be discovering me for the first time. But yeah, my Instagram friends, they came together and crowdfunded for my first camera. It was started by someone I like to call my camera dad, Macro Flodzel, Florian Zula, at Macro Flodzel, link below. One of the best macro photographers on the planet, like high magnification stacks and all of that. It was started by him and altogether the macro photography community, they came together. One of those moments that just let you know just how beautiful humanity is. And they funded my first camera, Olympus EM5 Mark II, the lens, Olympus 60mm macro, the flash, the diffuser, and just every other thing I'd need to get me fully started into macro photography as a professional. That was beautiful, to be honest. And I won't lie, it's one of those moments that when I get really depressed, I'm like thinking of it, it just brings me back to life, just gives me a reason to keep living. And it was a real savior for me in that period because I was going through serious depression, to be honest. I mean, I still experience depression now, but it's different. It's different, and I mean, it's different. It's different. It's just different. It's not like it was before. It's just that way. For 2022, that was how it happened. And January, February, there was a little bit of delay. You know, Nigerian. I think it's because of the holidays and the means we use to ship it over here. So by February of 2023, shooting with a camera. That was my first time shooting with a camera, and that was when I switched to camera macro photography. And believe me, it was very different. In February of 2023, that was when I began shooting with an actual camera, and everything was just so professional. And before this, I was shooting with the phone by day. I don't know how I was good at day photography then, but then right now I'm so bad at day photography. It's strange, right? So, however, before I switched to an actual camera, I had switched to night photography, night macro photography with my phone. I'd have this lamp. It was a broad firing lamp, so that it would kind of like be naturally diffused. And oh my god, I'm just like, I didn't give an excuse then that this lamp doesn't suit it. I mean, it was just pure passion. Like right now, I'd be like, maybe I'll need a diffuser. Yeah, I'm saying so because I have this Yongnuo 12 to 35 lens, which I'm reviewing. And before now, I've never thought of fuck. I just discovered my ISO is at 400. And that's crazy. You know why? Because I lifted my shutter speed so high. Should have been at 200, but not really bad. These things happen, to be honest. So yeah, as I was saying, and by the way, I had to look back because it's Nigeria, and I'm alone. Um, I wonder how long this video already is. I have this Yongnuo 12 to 35 lens which I'm supposed to review, but I'm like, I can't use a flash. Can't shoot with this at night. You know why? Because there's no diffuser for it. It's a 67 millimeter thread, so I can't use my diffuser with it, the one I use with my 60 macro, which is compatible with these other lenses because they're just 52 millimeter thread, and that's very close to what is on the Olympus 60 macro. But right now, I'm just like, oh, I think I can do it. All I need is to just get a light out with me and try it. Even though I know I'm not going to find anything right now. So I'm just praying for more rain. And if the rain comes, yeah, then I'll do it. So I don't know who I should thank, maybe myself or the camera, for this macro photography trick that I knew but forgot. So yeah, that was how it was for me. Before switching to a camera, I had switched to night macro. And I really love night macro because you just discover a whole different world than by daytime. There are lots of frogs. I mean, you can find frogs by day, but they're not as epic as the ones you'll find at night. Same thing with spiders with prey, spiders with sacs, spiders with babies. Yeah, those are my favorite stuff. There are just so many kind of interesting scenes you can find at night. And I began to fall in love with night macro because it was more quiet. I mean, I'm recording right now, but everywhere is noisy. And maybe someone is out there thinking, what is he even doing? And I know times have changed. Back then, such things like this might have seemed kind of less normal, but right now it's very different. So, yeah, people will probably understand. But then at the same time, it's still not completely normal over here. I got into night macro because of the peace, because of the calm, and because of the subject I discover. And then it was an escape for me from the depression at night. And I feel night depression is the worst, to be honest. It really hits at night. And I don't know why. From 2022, when I was shooting with a camera for the first time, till like October, I went out every night. Like, okay, not every because I know I missed 5 nights. I counted it. I'm a very statsy person. I don't know if statsy is a word, but I counted every word of it. I didn't actually start by counting it, but as time went on and I discovered, man, I've been going out every night, I began to count them. And that meant even if there was rain, even if I was sick, I mean, of course, I'm like, yeah, if I go out, it will heal me. So yeah, I went out every night. And for 100 nights, I went out for 95 nights and then beyond. So yeah, it was always interesting and it was free therapy for me. I was out in nature and I just had fun. And of course, it was very risky, to be honest, very, very risky. But if you don't know fire hot, you'll always get your hand close to fire. That was what I did. I mean, I didn't know fire did hurt. Not like fire literally right now, but just like the entire situation of it until my first attack incident, which for a long time it blowed out my fire. And how do I hope I'm not deviating from the main point of this video. It was supposed to be how I got into macro photography and just how macro photography has changed me. But just in case, maybe I think I can give it a different title. So that was what happened. And for a long time, I never was able to recover from it. Mm, am I different now? Yeah, I am, but in a different way. In a way that if I see someone while I'm out shooting at night, I'm going to smash their head. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like why I look this way, why I look scary. Of course, people are afraid of me over here because of, I mean, my height, my size, and then my hair, my beards, everything. So, and of course, I know it doesn't like really change much, but somehow it does influence. I'm going to skip the other part of the story because it's a long story, but macro photography, it's been a fun ride to be honest. It's not been the most beautiful one, but it's very beautiful. And that's because no journey is ever absolutely beautiful, but dude, this 35 makes me feel or look somehow. I don't know, I like 50 but shooting outside and I mean yeah, this is where the 50 would excel because there's so much space out here. But at the same time, it's going to be so far away from me, and I won't even be able to see if I'm in focus. Which, of course, right now I don't even know if I'm in focus. Plus, the lighting is poor. I should have faced this other way where the light would kind of like hit me, but I don't know. I don't like this other background. I prefer this one. That kind of makes my face seem dark over here. I wonder how I'll edit this. I mean, it's unnecessary saying all this in this video, but maybe I'll just add it. I mean, it's unscripted. So, how has macro photography changed me? You see, before getting into macro photography, I was always afraid of insects. I'll be honest, I was afraid of insects. I wouldn't get close to them. I wouldn't let them be on me or even be around me, and I'd kill them. And that's another ant on my neck, but well, I'll just find it and maybe sweep it down or whatever. But I'm not going to like hit there to want to kill it. And that's how macro photography has influenced me as a person, not just as a photographer. It also made me understand the roles of the bugs to our existence. I mean, the bugs don't live because of us, but we live because of them. That's how I say it. They play a very major role in humanity because we create a lot of mess and we can't even clear it ourselves, so we need help clearing all those mess. And the bugs do that for us. I love frogs so much. Like I just have a very soft spot for them, as if they were a human. And I don't mean any other human. I mean a very close human friend. So that's how I see frogs. I mean, when I see them, I feel like crying. I love frogs so much, and I have lots of them printed and framed on my wall because I just like being around them. Even though it's not real when it's framed, but just seeing them there. I mean, I have this frog photo whereby it's just two frogs, amplexus plus a ladybug, and I look at that photo a lot. Another frog photos of mine, I just look at them so many times because it kind of heals me. I don't know if heals me is the right word, but it just makes me feel at peace, you know. And if you've ever handled a frog, not like handled like this, but maybe if a frog has ever maybe stepped on your hand or anywhere around you, for it to feel just how soft and cold and cuddly and maybe humanly, yeah, humanly, if you've like looked at them closely and just see how they move and also look back at you and stay calm. You can understand how beautiful frogs are. But I mean, I'm not just talking about frogs here. Let's talk about insects. Dealing with spiders, both ones with prey and ones with babies and ones with sac, it's made me understand that these things are just like us, you know. They care for their young ones, just like humans do. And am I in focus? Dude, don't tell me I'm not in focus. You can't see me, just. Does this happen to everyone? Okay. Has it detected my face now? Yeah. That was tough, mate. That was tough. I don't know. I'm not going to cut that part out. So that was very sad. Even when I'm with spiders and just see them caring for their young ones and they have like 200 to 300 on their backs, I just understand it's how humans too are. We care for our young ones and these spiders do the same. And them feeding on other bugs don't mean they maybe don't like other bugs. I mean, they're just trying to survive, just like we feed on vegetables or meat or whatever we feed on. And it's just like them hustling, like hustling for food for their young ones, just like how humans got to work so that they can make money and take care of their young ones. I mean, it's just life, to be honest. That's another ant. They're my friends. Just hope he doesn't bite. Of course he won't. So it's just like how humans go to work to take care of their young ones and fund their lifestyle. And these animals too, they do make like, I don't know, should I use companionship? Yeah, of course they do have companions, and that is why they're able to recreate and also like have a home. They do have homes. Have you ever like gone out and you see a wolf spider, and when it kind of like spots you, it goes back into a hole? Yeah, that's their home. They built that. So it's just like how humans are. And being with bugs, it made me understand that we are not so different after all. We are all the same. And it also makes me relate to plants and flowers too, because everything in life, we just have the same pathway, kind of like the same mission, same goals, even though they kind of differ in a kind of way, but we kind of walk the same way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it sounds right in my head. It's also influenced how I see things. And I don't mean this in like a philosophical way, but just how detailed my eyes have become. I'm able to spot things from afar, spot things closely, and just pay more attention to things because of bulk photography. And I'm more stable, more accurate, yeah, because of focus bracketing. It's like all the knowledge and experiences of bulk photography, I kind of like apply it to life, and it's really helped me. You see, being kind and tender to them, with them, it's really helped me interact with humans in a very nice way. Do I recommend macro photography for any other person? Of course I do, because it's a free form of therapy, and it's a diving into a world you maybe know not much about. Because when you begin to really know these animals closely, it changes the way you see them, the way you walk with them, the way you appreciate them. And that has been it for me with snakes. Prior to this, I wouldn't say afraid, but I would kill a snake for nothing. But I've actually never killed a snake, to be honest. But I mean, because everyone around me kills snakes, I was like, okay, if you ever see a snake, maybe you have to chase it away. No, you have to kill it. You don't chase it away. How do you chase away a snake? You kill it. That's no longer me. I'm like, if you see a snake, just let it be there. It's not going to bite you if you don't threaten it. And it's same for me with spiders. I'm not going to tell you to kill a spider. I hope I'm in focus. It shouldn't happen again. That's crazy. I'm not going to kill a spider. If I see a spider in my room, I think it's a good sign. And I just know, okay, maybe I should be out tonight to take a picture. It's happened several times, and when I went out that night, I got very good pictures. Even though right now, when I see spiders in my room, I'm like, oh, well, it's unfortunate I can't go out because so many reasons, yeah. But it always makes me happy. And the worst I could do, I don't know if I should say the worst or any other word for it, is just guide the spider outside. And that's it. I'm not going to kill the spider. The spider is trying to survive just like me. We're all trying to survive. We're all trying to make it on this world. Is it on or in this world? I don't know. We're all trying to make it anywhere, maybe on another planet. But yeah, it's how bulk photography, macro photography, insects, all of them, nature photography, it's how it has changed me. It's made me appreciate these things, to be honest. I mean, like right now, I don't know what's making a noise. I know it's a bird, but previously I'd be like, man, you're disrupting my recording. I mean, it is, but I'm like, oh, nature, just a friend. And it's crazy when I tell people these things, to be honest, especially Nigerians. They're like, dude, you're not normal. I mean, I knew I was crazy, but but this just makes everyone know I'm crazy, validates their thoughts that I was already crazy and all of that. But for me, it's just beauty. It's just I like how they live. Like I mean, the insect world. I like just how they do their own thing. And I wish humans could emulate certain characteristics of insects. It would be nice, to be honest. Too bad we can't. Do I think my day out here in nature today has been a waste? No. Why? Because I've been able to share a story with you guys. I've been able to tell you guys about how I got into macro photography. I don't know if I really said it, but at least I said something. And I've also told you how macro photography has changed me, from how it's made me appreciate and understand insects to how it has affected my sight in a good way, of course. And that's all beautiful. So, oh no, I guess that's it for this video. It's my longest video thus far, and probably the only one I've not scripted. Maybe the second one, but the longest one of that. And if I wasn't in focus for long at that area, please just bear with me. I'm actually not going to cut that out. Maybe I could find photos to put over there, but yeah, another bird. So I don't know what I'm going to do right now, but that's just it for this video. And my day is over. Like, I mean, I'm going to leave here, but at least it was fun being out in nature. And I know I'm not in focus again. Get that? Get here. I like this game. I think it's a I think it's a game now. Ah, look here. So thank you so much for watching and just listening to me rant or whatever. And yeah, my focusing rant. I'm not even in focus for this part. It's crazy. Okay. We'll take a lot of edits to make this fine. So that's it. And I don't know, let me know if you like this setting. See you next time. I enjoyed doing this video. I think it's my most fun video thus far. And it doesn't matter if nobody watches it. I mean, I'm used to it by now. So see you next time.